Good to see everyone here, and look forward to an informative meeting. First of all, could I please have an approval of the minutes of the May 24th meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Next item on the agenda is bills to be paid this month, and...
We have none.
None, that's great. No outstanding bills. The monthly financial report is there for your review, the March 31st. As you can see, the balance is $71,365.46 in the operating account. And in let's see, the other account, oh, good, thank you, which is the signed grant program, has $14,428.23. If there are no questions on the financials, I look for a motion to approve the financial reports as submitted.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Tina, any correspondence?
None.
Okay. Update in the storefront?
Sure. So one thing to cover here, we have not had any new inquiries from anybody within the target area. We have for our facade loans and sign grants. The WRA identified a target area largely along Main Street and Pleasant for the program to be eligible. And 3 years ago, we expanded it a little bit on the peripheries, extended a little bit further down the street. And we've put calls out for interest from people a couple of times, multiple times over the years, but certainly a couple times over the last couple. And we really haven't had the level of participation and interest in the program that we used to. We did recently get an inquiry from someone who is opening a new business at 170 Main Street. That's a little outside of the target area, past the Armory, down Main Street, south. It's about a block before Nana Betts, and across from Lawless has a car dealership across the street. It's a building now that's in need of some rehab, has an empty commercial, has a couple of commercial spaces. One's filled, one is empty, as I understand it. The gentleman that we had come in is going to be opening a clothing store there. Has a lot of backing, has put some money into the building, and is working with the landlord, who also called me. They have potential interest in both a sign grant for the gentleman's business and potentially a facade loan for some exterior work that the property owner would like to do to the commercial building. The only trick is that it is outside of the target area that you had previously established for the program. So I promised that I would come this afternoon to the WRA and ask you if you would be willing and interested in maybe either extending the target area to incorporate down to 170, or in the alternate to, on a case-by-case basis, and in this case, approve a potential grant and sign loan for 170 Main Street, assuming they fill the applications in appropriately, and there's no question we have the money and the funding available for it. So I'd love to get the members' interest and willingness to entertain that application, even though it's not in the target area.
Thought process?
I'm definitely interested. Anything to help the business. So to get is this on the corner of Warren and?
It's actually where the Six Star Market used to be. It's just in front of the Woburn Housing Authority's complex there. Just before you get to the intersection of Fowle Street.
Okay.
Across from Lawless.
Yeah, this Lawless has a repair lot and a detailed.
So it's on the opposite side of the Lawless?
It's across.
Okay, so those little stores that are
Yeah,
real
it's
close to the street?
It's the first
Yes.
section of
Okay.
the block of stores there.
There's a little parking area next to one end of the building.
Yeah,
That's what
those
it
are.
looks like.
It's a building in need of repair.
Okay. Okay, thank you, that's helpful.
And they-
Yeah, I'm all for that. I mean, it seems like it changes hands quite a bit. And I think it's,
I was down the Easy Way Shopping Center last week, and there were two businesses there who were interested in the sign program. I know it's outside the area, so again, like that, I wish they'd consider the Development Authority and expanding that area. So they seem very interested in it, so I said, well, we'll check it out, I'll put it before the authority and see what happens.
Wasn't that interesting? So two of us come into the same meeting with essentially the same thought. So it sounds like you would be willing to consider allowing him to participate along with perhaps other businesses that may be interested too that aren't in the district. Good.
My feeling is we've gone for a year or so without any activity in the center itself with the signs, so I feel why not expand it and avail other businesses of the opportunity to, I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, I don't think that, I mean, to just go to 170 Main Street when there are more small businesses that, you know, go right down to, even to the Winchester line. I mean, we've been kind of stagnant in, you know, getting more
Yeah,
interest in it.
So, I mean, it's so, will avail us monies to do that if that does rebound at some point.
Sure.
But I feel that if anything we can do to enhance any of the businesses down here along Main Street would be beneficial to everyone in the city, the business itself. So would it be appropriate to give the executive director of the authority to pursue those over the summer, over the next
Good
few
motion, I'll
months?
make that motion.
Second, all in favor?
aye.
Great.
Excellent.
Okay.
Good. Super. And we'll try to get the word out too. I know we had talked about sending something to the newspaper and asking you to publish it for us. And this would be perfect
A
timing.
little expansion.
Exactly.
Right.
That there's an interest and willingness to entertain applications.
You know, I think one of the PR things of that is how many, you know, if we can say how many signs we did downtown,
We have that count.
okay? And I think, you know, over the past 4 or 5 years, X amount of signs have been done, constructed or funded downtown, and, you know, this is just to reenact that program, okay? I know you can write it very, very well here.
I'll send you a draft.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
The next on the agenda is to discuss the initiatives that we have going forward, and let's go right now to the Pocket Park, and we're fortunate to have Lenny Burnham, the director of the DPW, here to discuss, as we talked about last month, of the design, the feasibility, the timeline of where we are with this, so that we can get this on track. So Lenny, why don't you come have a seat? Again, on behalf of all of us, thanks for the effort on it. You guys do a great job downtown, and you're a big reason why we're sitting here trying to enhance the entire area. So go ahead, thanks.
Tina does all the work, so go ahead.
Oh, that's baloney. But I do a lot of the talking, so I can do
That's for sure.
the kickoff. Yeah. See? So Lenny has been working literally side by side with me to help me get a plan put together on how we could spend the $125,000 was earmarked for recovery efforts in the downtown that came out of our study that was done by the consultant and finished last fall. And Greg Rayome in the engineering department has also helped us by putting together this draft plan for how we would improve the Pocket Park. I'll just walk you through some of the elements, and then Lenny can fill in any of the blanks. As you can see, it sort of it changes the park quite a bit. We have the planter in the back that has some landscaping in it now. That's sort of a raised area. Much of that would remain sort of a raised area as a deck. You recall that the plan we had created by G2 Collaborative, which was a consulting firm a couple of years ago, had indicated that this would be a great spot, not only for eating and relaxation and rest, but also potentially for performances. You can have a band during a Saturday afternoon or an evening event down here, and a stage area like this would allow us to have flexibility on what we could do with it. There'd obviously be seating added in a couple of styles. Some is bench style seating, 3x5 blocks, and others are actual tables and chairs, all handicap accessible. Some tables would be 4 chairs around a table, others would be 2 chairs around a table, but all would be handicap accessible, so that it could be used by someone who's in a wheelchair, say, for instance. New concrete on the ground, some scored pattern, it would still be concrete, but some sort of a scored path that leads from the street to the back of the lot. The rock outcropping at the very back stays in place, obviously, that's going nowhere. But we thought about using that more wisely, and the thought would be to have a projector that projected images on that back rock wall. It could be an image of a waterfall, could even have sound. Could be a series of photographs or other images, even a light show, any one of a number of things.
Where would that be?
So
Would
the projector would probably be on a pole on the sidewalk that then is projected to the back and hits the rocks. New lighting on site, and the lighting would have the availability of electricity. So if you had an amplifier or something like that, you could plug it into the nearest light receptacle and have juice for it.
And this is the bus shelter over here against the south wall, on the south corner?
It's freestanding, but it is a bus shelter, and I'll let Lenny speak to this in terms of, we found a great supplier for much of our street furniture. You see a lot of it already on our streets and sidewalks. When we did a big purchase last year using WRA funding, we bought trash receptacles, some benches, some planters, and we had them all manufactured by MassCore, which is an organization that's based in the Mass Correctional Unit, where they use, I call them residents, temporary residents of the facility, learn skills, and how to, create these
Good for
different things.
everyone.
It's fantastic, and the prices are so much less than anything you'd find in a catalog, and they're good quality and heavy duty stuff. So they have certain things they build a lot of, but they also take on sort of special projects, and they had the need for a bus shelter somewhere else. So they've sort of, I don't know if the design was tweaked for us.
Yeah, design was changed a little bit to fit our needs, but I don't even know if Tina has a picture of it. But that's basically the drawing they gave us.
Simple, but
Yeah, they had made a
effective.
couple for a different community, and they could modify these to work in a location that we have.
Great.
You know what I mean? And this is similar to the table and chair setups that, which match previously existing barrels and benches that are around the downtown area. We've been buying benches similar to this for years from, outside suppliers at the cost of about $2,000 a bench. They're about $700 from MassCore, and they're almost identical. So
Is it vandalism free?
nothing is vandalism proof. However, they're pretty sturdy. I mean, MassCore's standard bench product is like this, which isn't the best. That's kind of why they've modified them for us to match things we already have in the downtown area. One of the other things that we had talked to them about was a bike rack. And they, Greg and I had kind of worked on a design of, what a standard bike rack, the hoops. So they came up with a design, or Greg did, and they've looked at it and think that they can make a bike rack that spells out Woburn.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? That's
So-
why we've got that along the north
Yeah.
wall of that building. You would see it at least coming up in one direction.
Another, one of the things that the G2 Collaborative had put together in their plan were these 8x8 chunky cedar blocks that, people could sit on. But, that's maintenance intensive, splinters.
Yeah.
So the MassCore guys kind of came up with, that's just a prototype they made that we could clad with, or they will clad with like composite decking. So if something was broken, it's replace a piece.
Good, great.
No splinters, easy maintenance.
Just to expand on what Tina had said, we've been looking at light fixtures, right? So the standard downtown light fixtures that you see, they're expensive.
I know.
They get hit and they're $10,000. Poles 6, the heads 4. And these that we're looking at here are expensive, but these have capability to broadcast sound and display colored lights. So, if you had a band or Christmas time, or we had talked to Rory about, they do movie nights. with the way the deck is set up, and there's a, you know, as you can see along the ledge, there's a boulder garden. We could easily put one of her screens in. The newest projectors that they have only need to be about 18 inches away from the screen to project up. So, you know, we could do family movie nights in there.
That'd be great.
You know, just to draw some people into the area.
I think it's great. I see on the budget and the proposed budget, I see the date, and you know, as you know, I'm pretty big on timelines. A lot of this could be done in the fall for next year, next spring kickoff.
Yes.
Most of the stuff that we're talking about, like that, this is the one detriment to using MassCore, is if we hopefully can get this rolling and get approved and place an order with them sometime in July. We probably won't see these materials until end of September, beginning of October.
Okay.
Everything is being custom made, so there's time involved, and you know, there's a waiting list that you have to jump into,
That's great.
you know.
But it looks like, yeah, and Lenny and I talked, I said, do you think we can get this done in less than a year so it could be ready next spring? We feel pretty confident we can. DPW would be doing a lot of the work on site, but, you know, this material shows up, it's just placing
I
it.
mean, currently, we hope at DPW to be down there, love to tell you the end of this week, but it'll probably be next week, just to dig some test pits up in the back. I mean, none of us really know how far the ledge outcroppings are, what's behind that wall, what's underneath. You know, and that's gonna affect a lot of what we do. If the ledge goes all the way back and we don't have to raise anything or step anything, it's gonna be much easier and much quicker.
That might be the reason why.
We don't know. That's what we think. But, you know, in police, the police have put input on this. You know, currently the trees that are down there's a beautiful evergreen down there, but, you know, it serves as a bathroom for homeless and a hiding area. The trees that Greg has designed here are tall, thin, you know, don't have a lot of, they're gonna block. It's gonna give us greenery without.
You want it open.
Yeah,
You want it
exactly.
open, you want it open.
You know, we've got some fence designs to mimic what the deck looks like and what those seating blocks look like. So hopefully all that stuff, you know, there is some gray area as to how the ledge works, but we'd like to block off behind both buildings to keep it from being a pathway for,
Correct, yeah, great.
you know,
Cut through.
exactly.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? The fixtures, will they all be stationary and secure?
Which fixtures you talking about? The seating
Seating,
areas?
yeah.
Yeah, they all have the ability to be secured to the ground. And insole, like using standard concrete lags.
Mhm.
So if we had to move them, we could.
Okay,
Because, you know, we have a design, but you know how things go.
sure.
It changes, and if we find out that, hey, we really like doing the movie nights, and maybe we want to rearrange them so that they're better seating for a movie, then we can do that.
Okay,
Gives us some flexibility.
great.
But yes, everything is, and I hate to keep going back to this, but the benches we've made that we have down there now are, there's 6-foot benches with a armrest in the middle so that they don't become a place for people to sleep.
Right.
And all of the things that we've designed are, you know, 4 feet, so they're not gonna be used as
So I
a
can't go down there and have a nap during the
Well,
day.
we're hoping to avoid that point.
That's you're right.
Sounds great. Any comments or questions?
Any comments from the existing businesses around?
Well, that's my next step. We want to talk to them about not only letting them know what we're thinking of doing for the park and share a copy of the plan, but in the budget, we also have, at a minimum, we would love, in the short term, to paint both walls the same color so that they kind of jive with the park.
I just wrote that down, and I have
Good.
to paint.
Is there any thought process of, this was my thought process, is soliciting local schools to paint it?
Well, so
Students.
we've talked a
Yeah.
lot about hiring somebody to do murals, and one of these walls was identified as one of the potential ones, the one facing from Jean's Flatbread Cafe. So we might, I don't know, we've not talked about soliciting school children necessarily to paint the walls, but we've talked about maybe either doing a muralist, actually. There are people that you hire to do murals.
I don't mean to interrupt, but it was currently last weekend in Reading, an artist.
I saw that.
Yes.
That's what I was
And-
going with
and
that,
so
too.
Tina and I have talked about it, and it's not that we want to discount school children, That's a tough sell for a kid to paint an area that big. Because we kind of kicked it around, doing it on the back of the Moose for the library. We've got some input from other communities, and most of the other communities have kind of directed us towards, in that environment, using a professional.
Well, there's some grant money
Just
out
from
there.
their experience.
Oh, I was just throwing it out there, because
Yeah.
exactly too, if there's a problem, what are you gonna do? You're not paying a school kid.
Exactly, and it's a lot to come up with a theme and to cover that area.
One of the things, I'll just interject, that we have thought about with school children is, another thing we have in the back of our heads, it's not on really a list, is the utility boxes. That's in so many communities, they paint them
Yeah.
into different things, and that's often where you do a couple of different tiers. You set aside some for high school, for
Yeah.
kids that are in junior high and high school, and yet maybe you work through the art, programs in the schools to identify potential students that might want to do a set of those. Sometimes there are just regular artists, adults, in the community that would love to do that for a living or paint for a living and would love to do one of those. So we thought with the utility box program, that might be an excellent way to get more younger people involved.
I'm not sure how many of you have walked the Tri-Community Bike Path. Anybody?
Nope.
So if you go under the bridge at 93, it is all basically professional graffiti. If you get a chance to go down there and take a look at it, they're
You'd
not.
have to call it art, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they're not out tagging things in Woburn, because we give them, the state did it. The state said, you guys can paint in here, just clean up after yourselves. And they do. Each guy's kind of got his own area, each artist has their own area, and they maintain it, they clean it, and they change what they've done from time to time. And it is really impressive. If you get a chance to walk through there, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
You even have the names.
I have a couple guys, yeah.
Okay, the other thing is, I read in a publication recently that there is a group of artists going around, I think Reading is one of them, Salem, Peabody, that are working on a schedule, July, August, September, October, of painting various municipality and being engaged. I thought I saw there was grant money for that. Could you check on that?
Sure, you said Salem and Peabody?
Salem, Peabody, Reading.
I know if you go Salem, all of their traffic control boxes up in that area are all painted different, and they're all beautiful.
Yeah. So that's
Really,
just a
yeah.
thought.
There's a couple of real fun ones, yeah.
Okay, great.
I will look into that.
Okay, any other questions for Lenny? I mean, I have another question. What do we need to get formal approval on this?
So,
Has the mayor been, has he been?
oh yeah, he's been,
I know was big on it. but-
he is, and he was instrumental in getting the budget done last week, pushed us to get that done.
He's definitely pushed Tina and I to
Yeah.
fast track this.
Yeah, he loves
Okay,
it.
so what do we need to do for the approval process? Does it have to go to the council? I don't know.
I don't know, Lenny,
Like-
as a city parcel, maybe,
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not sure that it has to go to anybody.
yeah.
Well, we like to play by the
Yeah,
rules.
I agree, Don, I completely agree. I mean, we probably should present at least the plan to the council and give them an opportunity to comment on it. And I think maybe that should be done by the mayor. Just,
Agreed.
Could you make sure you send this to Jeff? Jeff Gillen?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yes, he's missing today.
Yeah, he could, he was at a family engagement.
Gotcha.
Okay, so if you could send that to him.
Yeah.
And maybe follow up on how we have to go through the approval process so things can get moved.
All right, we will.
Everyone okay with that?
Sounds great.
Hey, Len, thanks so much.
No,
Tina,
my
thank
pleasure.
you.
If
Really,
anybody has
good
any
job.
questions, you think about them later, call, shoot me an email, whatever it is. Happy to, because I think it'll be a good project in downtown. I
Great,
really do.
it'll be, great. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you letting me come and speak. Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank you.
Thanks, Len.
Okay, that's good news, people. Good job. Just a couple of things that I do want to mention as we go full on the initiatives. An update on the economic development position. Tina has modified the job requirements slightly. We have received 3 additional applications that I'm just in the process of taking a peek at. and I'll discuss with Tina for next steps on that. Had a meeting with Middlesex 3 Coalition, and they were very, very helpful in giving us some guidance on how to move forward and to outreach into possible positions or sources of positions. So we are doing that also. We look to have that, hopefully, these applicants reviewed and see what comes out of that in the next week or so. That'd be appropriate.
Yep.
So that's great. As you saw, probably special thanks have to go to Rich Hagerty for getting us that grant of $125,000 for funding on that. That is another step, a positive step. At the last meeting, I mentioned to the members that I look into the feasibility of what's going on at the old Woburn 5 building. I did reach out to as you know, that's public record. I did reach out to the owner, the individual that purchased the property. The plan for that property is potentially an urgent care facility on the first floor. And on the second floor, their strategic plan would be to have some sort of medical offices. The advantage to that, very low impact on traffic, on parking, and high impact on people being brought down to the community. So I think that's a positive. A couple other developments that are probably maybe premature for discussions, but I think there's some sizable properties up and down Main Street that we could see significant change over the next 6 to 12 months, that we might be able to bring stuff to the WRA and maybe discussions on what could be there, and maybe probably prior to purchasing, maybe get our input a little bit so that we can at least have some say in gateways, visual buildings and movement. I'm trying to be politically correct in where I'm going with this, okay? Any comments on that? So there's some stuff happening. And, who knows with the economy, what we're gonna face in the economy in the next couple of years, but at least people are talking, and, we all want to encourage private investment downtown, and I think it's up to us to work with these people as they come in.
Are you guessing that or do you know, are you expecting that it would be mixed-use development?
Yes.
Commercial and residential?
I think I say yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the way to bring downtown back, make it a
Right.
destination, yeah.
Well, that's what I like, not necessarily because it didn't have residential, but the idea of having a medical office for urgent care is a great thing.
Great.
Anything that brings people down during
I
the day.
think that's a great reuse for that
Yeah,
property.
and then the residents hopefully can support at night, so, good stuff.
Anything, Tina, on that Fox Den or whatever it is, half of the old Tenor Tavern? I see a sign up there, Fox Den or something?
I think it's gonna be,
Restaurant.
Restaurant?
Yeah, no, I think it's Polish food?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a reality, that's happening.
Yeah.
yeah, they've applied for a liquor license, so, yeah.
So we see some activity, we think it's positive, and, Tina will probably hear it before any of us now, because if things activity starts to flourish downtown, I think. I know I asked this before, is the Peterson building still operating?
Yes,
It is.
yep. In fact, tonight we'll probably see a bunch of students
Yeah.
parked in the City Hall parking lot
Yeah,
walking
they're
over.
back to
Yep.
in-person learning,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it- All right, anything else?
No, just say that I will, if anything does break over the summer, and I'm sure it will, we'll update you. Our next meeting of the WRA isn't scheduled until September 27th, but I'll keep you informed by,
We really want to stay, if you can, just let us know what the steps are here, if we can be of any assistance. I do have one thing, Mark, did you have an opportunity to meet with them when they were planning this? Remember we talked last month?
Meet with whom?
Remember they were gonna have a walk, was it?
Oh, at the park?
Yeah,
No, I did go down there a week or two ago myself
Yeah.
at night when it was quiet, just to look at it.
yeah, so.
you mean the pocket bar?
Yeah.
Yes, but I didn't meet with anybody down
Okay,
there.
all
no.
right, so we're good though, Lenny's
Yeah,
perfect, all the engineering, that's great.
and we'll keep you informed when we meet with the abutters, if we learn from Mr. Dillon that, maybe we should go to the city council, please let them know what we're
Okay,
doing, get
that'd
their
be
ideas.
great.
We'll give you the dates of that, keep you
And
informed.
we'll avail ourselves if they need us or
Yeah.
whatever.
We'll give you the specifics. in
Okay,
case you
any
want to.
anything else? Any other comments? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thanks, everyone. Good meeting. Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good job.